Hello, listeners. This is Prosenjit Mukherjee, and you are listening to the CHRO Mindset Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to the CHRO Mindset Podcast, where we bring you candid, thought-provoking conversations with top HR leaders and experts. And here's your host, Pulkit Joshi. Today, we have the privilege of hosting Prosenjit Mukherjee. Prosenjit Mukherjee is the Group Chief Human Resource Officer at SRK Consulting Group and brings over 2 decades of global HR and human capital management expertise. Leading talent solutions and human capital excellence strategies globally, he orchestrates business operations across multiple countries, establishing end-to-end HR organizations. Prosenjit is recognized for his passion in diversity, digital HR practices, and human potential expertise. As a top HR innovator in the Asia Pacific region for 2023 and top HR tech leader in 2022, he actively serves as a mentor and speaker, engaging in global forums on human capital and human resource development topics. Prosenjit, thanks for taking out time to speak with us today, and welcome to the CHRO Mindset Podcast.
Thank you very much, Pulkit, for the opportunity. Looking forward.
Great. So, Prosenjit, let's start with this intriguing topic, which is about the future of jobs and HR skills, right? So would love to know your perspective on, as we navigate the evolving landscape of work, what do you believe will be the most crucial HR skill in 2025, and how are you preparing your team to excel in it?
Yeah, thanks, Pulkit. I think, Pulkit, important part is that definitely there were 2 eras, named this way, 2 era, which is pre-COVID era and post-COVID era. Now, if I talk about HR were very different in pre-COVID era. I mean, notably the core KPIs or the skills that were there, it was there, the responsibility areas, majorly broadly. However, the focus areas were HR, and the focus area that has shaped up after COVID was pretty different. Some says 360 degrees, some says 180 degrees. HR was more a facilitation function. Some people who kind of work in the back end, of course, their responsibilities was to see how organization can grow further, evolve further. But they were not really a people function until unless they are into core people role. Secondly, what was there in pre-COVID was there were no urge of knowing the market. What it means is that an HR person was not in urge of, kind of getting to know the business, the way the organizations operate, the way the business operate in terms of the relevance of the business. Also, importantly, to create the brand name for the company or the promote to the brand of the organization. So, be it personal branding, be it company branding. So, employer branding was there, but the way HR guys are promoting today was not the one it was there pre-COVID. So, pre-COVID was majorly the functions were looked upon where there was a requirement, it will go to HR, HR will follow their the model that we work, various departments, they would act on it as a support entity, as a support function, as a facilitation function. But after COVID, and when COVID happened, we realized work from home, a lot of change management happened, a lot of changes that has happened in the organizations everywhere in the globe. HR has understood that the core skills or the skills that were there in strategy that needs to be evolved. Secondly, there are certain things which is from a more of an HR administration mindset, I need to get into a people mindset. And there are a lot of new titles, roles that has been established if you look at it. Okay. So one is that the change has happened in a people mindset. So HR become a people leader. Second important skills that has evolved that to know the businesses, right? And still, I think, still we are evolving in terms of just not knowing the businesses, how we are delivering the businesses, how we are ensuring we become an enablers to the business. So what we were there as a facilitators, facilitating the request of the business, and as a support, HR are actually driving the business as an enablers. There are difference, and this is a major difference. This is a major difference that I have seen pre-COVID and post-COVID era. So HR are the enablers. They are the drivers. They are in the driving seat. They are not in the back-end seat, right? So they are not wherein business is driving. So they are typically also driving the business, educating the business that, okay, you do that, let's do this exercise, let's do this skill development, right? And also always let's do at a relevant pace, because there are organizations, there are various shapes, sizes of the company, there are various nomenclature of the company, costing, all of it. Even HR today is one of the great marketeer. If you look at it, most of the HR folks today are very promptly writing things in social media, which is ultimately helping other HR leaders or the larger HR forum or the larger community to enhance their skill development. Today, people are, they are storytellers. So HR today is a marketeer, HR today is a storyteller, HR guys are enablers. They are actually sitting on the CXO table, CEO table.
Yeah.
They're representing. We have seen HR leaders. Recent past, it keeps on happening. It's not that one lady who was a top CHR in a top company moving to a top fashion, and you know whom I'm talking about. She have set a benchmark that from a vast HR role you can get into a vast kind of a business role, or CXO role, or a CEO role. It's not one person. There are multiple of people I know, leaders we have seen, leaders we have followed. With their vast experience of HR mindset, they move into the business mindset. Importantly, organizations, be it large, small, mid-scale organizations, everyone is finding it is very progressive, because one angle, HR are very people-oriented organizations, so they can be an advocate of the people. Other end, they are very strategic, so they know the compliances, the financial nitty-gritties. They can join hands with CFOs and work together towards logical solutions. And other is that they can also deliver the business in different angle. What it means that people are. What was missing, the people perspective has been added on to this. So I believe, and I solely believe this, and I'm sure other HR leaders would agree, that CHROs are the best CEOs. My company, the COO or the CEO of India operation, he comes with a 30 years of HR experience. Okay. So he's my boss, he's my manager, and he comes with that kind of HR experience, and now he's a business leader. Okay. And then that's the transformation I'm talking about. Why would I go outside to see? Okay. Yeah. Today, our role has completely changed. We are no more completely a function leader. We are the business leader. We are bringing business. We are doing business development. We are putting our plans to the market. We are meeting clients. We are finding prospects. We are doing lead generation. We are looking at the financial balance sheet. We are educating. We are transforming. We are seeing how we can not just saving cost, how we can develop how we can bring in more value to the system to increase the revenues of the company, right? What are the activities that we do to be relevant? Okay. So today, HR is not a facilitator. Today, HR is an enabler. That is very important role every HR leader or a manager who is aspiring to be a head of HR would have to look at. Number two is important part is that you as HR leader have to be very practical and understanding of the business. So what it means, if you look at the board of director, the CXO level, so what is been observed that CEO thinks in a northern direction, whereas the HR guys or the L&D guys are thinking on a southern direction. That means they are not aligned to the core business. Now the CEO is thinking of, okay, let's do these activities, let's engage revenue, let's see our what are top lines, these are the bottom lines. Let's do how do we develop talents? Okay, so let's say who will bridge the gap? So a CEO needs to be told that, okay, let's develop talent in this way. Let's do the exercise where they will give you, a 360-degree or maybe, a 300% ROI, return of investment of whatever we are investing on the budget. This is, if I'm an HR leader, I'm going with a crore of budget and I see there is no relevance. My company probably could invest 10 lakh and I'm asking price of 50 lakh rupees of an initiative, which has no clarity of what my company's appetites are, is also a question of HR leader credibility.
Yeah.
What I mean is that HR has to be aligned with the business, not against it, not beyond it. It has to be parallel. It has to be seemingly parallel. Now, who do we represent? We represent the company. We represent the business. First, this is our mindset that we need to understand. Okay, we are business. We are no different. We are a business guy who are driving people perspective. The purpose is same, happiness of people. Right. Happiness can be creating a lot of program, lot of flexibility. I wanted to focus on the core, We talk a lot of initiatives, but we never focus what is our sole purpose. The sole purpose is employees' happiness. And then you engage, you retain, you bring a lot of initiatives, all of it. But whether employees are happy or not, the culture that has been formed from the top, because culture always formed in the top, is it aligned with the employees or is employees aligned with it? One or two other employee, they may not find that culture is aligned with them. That's a different aspect. But largely, if there are 4-5 people as a founder member created a culture, it has to be streamlined towards the end of the person, not just about the designation. Someone who is sitting in the north corner, understanding this is the culture and whether that person is aligned is also very important key role for an HR to drive. So constant monitoring, constant education, constant pouring the employee values, the employer values, the cultural values, the principles and the ethics of the company. Okay. Whether all the resources, all the employees are actually aligned. And most importantly, when I am promoting my company's brand, whether I am aligned, I believe, I trust or not. So purpose has to be one, and that purpose has to be met, right? So that whether the HR guys are aligned to the core purpose of the founders is what is important, right? Whether the HR guys are strong enough, because many times what happened that if I am an HR and I've been told something by a business leader, right? Since I am more of a facilitator, I act as I'm passing the ball, and I act as an information guy rather than creating my value creation of that. Let's do this. Let's engage in a different way. Let's try a different method, which will in turn help your business. So what it means that bringing the businesses to the, so that is very important, that if I am a business guy, if I am a HR guy, HR leader, whether I am helping my business leader to achieve the core goal or the goal of what he wants to achieve without impacting the lives of the employees, without impacting the happiness of the employees. And then you can do 100 surveys and you do so many things, but ultimately the end goal has to be achieved. Okay. I know companies, they are doing a lot of surveys, etc., trying to get a ENPS rating of 80%, 85%, 90%, still could not control the attrition of more than 30%. Still there are layoffs happening. Okay. Now these are tough times. The third angle is that how do you deal with people? Like there are companies where there are many layoffs. What are the action plans that we say that, okay, are we aware about the downfall? If we are aware of the downfall, so first of all, are we aware as an HR leader as a downfall, or are we in a confidence? So if I am aligned to the business, if I'm driving business, then the business would take me the confidence, or I would know what is going to happen. If I know what is going to happen, how I am, what are the actions that I'm taking to recover it? Am I doing outplacement for the people who are getting laid off? Am I counseling them? Do I know what is the future? If I know the future of the company, what are the role that I am planning? So what it means is that, am I a part of the core business decision-making team is also important. All this needs to be reflected properly, right? For every HR person, that whether I am a part of a decision maker, whether I am enabling the business, whether I understand the business and driving the business in terms of dealing with the, so whether I am the person who is actually helping business to scale up in terms of revenue, EBITDA, all of it, right? Third is that, do I understand this financial game, right? If tomorrow my company wants to see me as an ally to a CFO, because CFOs are always very close to the CEOs because they talks numbers, they talks finance. Me being an HR, I talk people, but do we understand the other parts of the role, which is extremely important as HR strategy, which is finance? Do I understand that? Do I understand the impact? Third is that, do I ensure while all of things are managed, my people doesn't go unhappy? So the job is extremely crucial, very difficult job. One way you have to manage business, scaling up the businesses, balance it out. You have to align as how your business thinks, and you have to actually promote those employers' business brands, right? Promote that inside and outside. That's your role. And third is that you have to align the employees, ensure their voice also doesn't get, squished off. Their voice should also raised as from time to time. So this balance is the most critical role that an HR manager or a HR leader has to look at. And for that, one person has to be completely in sync how business thinks or business wants to deliver, right? So they need to be aligned with the business is what I would like to share. Also, they should be a solution mindset, solution maker, solution finder, solution provider, rather than just a guy who will come up with problems. No one wants a guy who would come up with problem. Everyone wants a leader who will come up with solutions. So HR has to be the solution provider. And it doesn't mean that you have to be in the books. It never happened. And importantly, while you're doing it, whether your people know it or not. So an HR leader cannot sit in the cabin and work, right? They has to be gel up with people. So those things are very critical in today's world. What was not actually seen so prominently prior to the COVID time. It was there, but now because of social media, hype, and a lot of people are writing, this is happening. But eventually, what is also important while people are writing and become influencers in social media, how many of us are actually doing the same practices, right? Or getting the same thing done. So we become a business ally. How many of us are doing it is also important. So we need to also reflect among us that what are we doing? How do we develop? It's every day's learning. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for that great answer, Prosenjit. To me, it did seem like
I just shared multiple
yes,
bits of thoughts, right?
absolutely.
Not sure whether I can justify your questions, but I just shared what's in my mind. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for that. And actually, when you brought up the fact, this COVID scenario and how that sort of changed the entire perception of HR as a function, right? I do believe that was the ignition point in a lot of people out there in the HR function, right? And they played such a critical role in those times. Not that they were not playing it earlier, but that actually drove them to think about the kind of impact, right, or a larger dent HR as a function can have on the organization. I do agree that was like one of the most pivotal moments in HR as a function, if you were to look at history in totality.
Correct.
Okay, let's keep going. The next question that I had for you is, of course, related to how COVID changed how we all work, right? And I'm talking about remote work. And this sort of is becoming very prevalent these days, right? So would love to know your perspective on now as remote work becomes more prevalent. How do you think HR leaders can foster a sense of community amongst employees who have never met face to face? And what strategies are you implementing for this shift?
Yeah, so what we did is that still today, what we did is that so when COVID happened, our company went into 100% work from home measures, right? Then for past 3 years that happened. If I look at 2020, and net 4 years, we are running 4 years what COVID has happened, right? In the 4 years, uh, the percentile of people working from home has reduced in our company for sure. It was 100% that it went into 75%. Today, we are at a 45-50% of people still working from home. Okay. Now, if I have to talk about our company, our organizations are majorly the line of businesses are GCC, Global Capability Centers, where we have offshore development centers in India and people work with onshore companies. I mean, companies who have onshore services, which is US, UK, other countries, right? So what we did in the GCC model, and GCC, there are, if you related to, I mean, if you refer to the NASSCOM reports and all of that, GCC is like huge, more than 2,000, 2,100 GCC so far in India, right? And Bangalore is the hub. Bangalore, Pune, all these tier 1 locations. So what we did is that we, kind of give them the flexibility. So we have a policy that says work location flexible policy. What it means is that if you are staying in city where the offices are there, or you are staying out city, so people who are staying outside of the city, definitely they can go ahead and work from home. Even people who are staying inside the city because of traffic, etc., they can decide to work either on hybrid, so few days in office and few days from home, or they can decide completely work from home. Okay. Now, notably, this is the client that are global clients. So what it means that people are, the onshore partners are sitting in US, Canada, UK, all of it. So we realize that bringing them to office and working them for the coordination with the client closely, especially on the technology side of it, since we are a technology service company, does not make much sense because the time zones that they would cover, the work they would do, we need to give them a flexibility so that they can save on the, the traffic time, the fuel time and whatnot, like people are talking about it, right? So one very important part is that which business you are representing is also important. If you are in a IT offshore services, you may decide to give work from home. If you are not in IT offshore and you need a lot of people to coordinate inside the office, you may choose to do hybrid. Now, when we are doing this hybrid location or work from home location, like you said, how do you engage? People are working outside. Okay. What we do is that we ask our immediate managers, which is L1 managers, team leaders, right? People, technical leaders who people report to travel exponentially in a cities, majorly because the resources are being hired from, let's say, if we have Bengaluru, and if we have an office, people working from home still because of traffic, etc., then typically there are 10, 12 people, hypothetically, just an example, there are people working or 20, 25 people working. So we send those team leaders to those locations. We ensure that they meet quarterly. We do small picnic or festival type, right? Many times we call them in office, but not on a regular basis, on a quarter to quarter basis. We do R&R, all of that celebration happens on a quarter to quarter basis. What it means is that the engagement happens. We do that cross-function also. So Pune team traveling to Bangalore team traveling to Surat team, Pune team traveling to Surat or Gujarat, Gujarat team traveling to Pune, all of this happening, cross functions. cross collaborations, cross way of engagement. And that we do it mostly on every quarter. Okay. So the engagement happens, the meetup happens pretty casually, right? It can be a celebration, it can be a team lunch, it can be just as a fun and activities. Sometimes the families also meet. What you know, my daughters or my family members will meet someone else's family members. That actually create a belongingness, employee employer belongingness, and we call up leaders also. So we call up leaders. They also join hands with their families. So what it means is that this creates a belongingness among the employees and belongingness among the employer, right? Also, this also help us to create those family values because we believe in that family. Our parent companies always promote on the family values. That also helps them to understand the family values are important and why family are important. All these things we engage, and that actually works pretty well because if I have to look at a data from last 3 years, right, straight, we have less than 24% of annual turnover rate. When I say turnover rate, attrition rate, it's about 24% or less. I think we are pretty less in the IT services market, which is less than 2% of people leaving us voluntarily. So that's our voluntary attrition percentile trend, if I have to talk about. And we connect with people, we connect with their family. We have various length of initiatives that we do. We have various pocket of engagement that we do to ensure people are always connected, always engaged, and there is always someone who is talking to them. We never let go them in terms of no one is actually looking at you and this quiet quitting all of it. That never happened where people are working from home. So that connect is there, engagement in terms of family engagements are there, and cross collaborations are there. This has worked pretty well for us so far. And I just shared you the data of last 3 years on an average attrition trend. Yeah.
Great. Thank you for sharing that, Prosenjit. Now let's look at another crucial aspect.
And I would like to highlight for this cross collaborations, for their bringing their families, doing a small celebrations, create belongingness by taking them and showing them the parent company, their values, all of it. We really need not to go to any agency or an influencer system to influence them, right? We understood that what is the core of their expectations as they should feel valued, they should be happy. And when we connect with, because this is India and Indians are emotions, right? Full of emotions. When we reach out to a person and we, especially on I would like to highlight, so there are Mediclaim, right? Where you go ahead and insure employees. So we ensure that employees are covered, their spouses are covered, their spouse, their children up to 2 are covered, their mom and dad are covered, even their in-laws are covered. We, we talk to them, we talk to their family members, right? We thank their family members. All of this happens. So what happened? We just don't connect with the employee. We also bring their families with us, right? That actually helped a lot in us, and because that's a connect, collaboration, and that's a belongingness that we have created without actually getting into any technology. This has not happened because of technology. This is pure human touch. And that's why I remember I said somewhere that it is always important for today's HR to understand, to prioritize what skills you need to do. So while technology is one angle, human touch is very important. You can't do everything on technology. You need to connect with people in person, human touch. So I prioritize that, and today I show you the number, right? And we track it through technology, definitely. But human touch cannot be kind of looked upon or it should not be ignored. That is very important for a company which actually want to retain employees, engage the employees. That human touch, that personal connect, that one-on-one conversation, that calling up their family members and talking to them. This happens from our level to the top level. They do it. So that helps their employees, that I feel, and it comes on the data that they feel valued, they feel belong to the company, they understood the company, think about them. I just shared you one simple example how we cover the entire employees, right? And there are enormous practices, huge practices that we do at multiple pockets, minimum to maximum level, that engages the employee. Most of it is through direct personal human touch because the purpose is still the same, happiness. Yeah, please.
Great. Great. Thanks for sharing those details, Prosenjit. Now let's look at another crucial aspect, and I'm talking about skill development and HR innovation. Okay.
Yeah.
So in this era of rapid technological advancements, there's GPT and whatnot. How are you fostering a culture of continuous learning and reskilling within your organization? And second part of the question is, what innovative approaches have you found to be particularly effective?
See, one is that one important aspect when it comes to skill development, we always believe in skilling, reskilling, unskilling, reskilling once, right? So that continues happening. So we always look for what are the new technologies in the market. As far as human resources functions are concerned, definitely various AI technology and tools are helping us, right? To evolve HR. Like if I talk about ChatGPT, definitely it did help HR people to, probably curate the content. When you're creating policies, it gives good content perspective on, on the content side of it, right? But while you are ensuring people follow through technology, learn new things, there are multiple programs. There are skill development programs, there are LinkedIn learning. So we do all of that, right? Sometimes we ensure people go through. So we have a learning L&D practices inside the company. So HR team member go through that, they get certified. But importantly, what we also always tell them to understand the core role. What it means is that if I am an HR person, okay, and I am taking things from the internet, right? I'll give you a classic example. So if I am a HR person and I'm responsible to manage the compliance of my location and I'm sitting in Bangalore, okay, do I refer to technology to support me or external consulting to help me to understand compliance? Or do I really go and follow books, that is bare acts, the sections, the acts, the laws, the regulations, right? What I have observed in recent times, people are too much on the technology and they depend on too much on the agency. What we did is that we asked our HR to be self-sufficient. So we asked them, okay, get the shop and establishment bare act book, okay? Keep it at office, go through it, get the industrial dispute, get the industrial standing order act, read through it, okay? There is a major area of HR, even CHROs, what we realize is that legal part, the law, the regulations are little people only know on the depth of it, okay? Mostly people who have handled from coming from manufacturing or the setup, they would know factory acts and because they had to do with it, plant manager job and all of it. But when it comes to technology HR side, there is a lack of understanding the legal part. When it comes to laws, sections, subsections, what are the various acts are there, and we always depend on the agency. In my team, what I did is that one is that I ensure all of my team members are legally equipped. While we have consultants, they would refer to books, laws, sections. Very critical role for HR. books, laws, sections, legal part. Most of the HR fail in here, the legal part of it. Okay. Because again, as I said, they look for the agencies. There are multiple legal agencies. They do not refer to the books, the acts, the sections, right? The nitty-gritty of it. Okay. Second is that when you are taking the content of ChatGPT while you are preparing a policy, ChatGPT gives you a generic content. So do we know what we are proposing? Do we have a strategic mindset? Do we refer to all the articles? So there are NASCOM studies, there are HBR studies, there are Forbes councils, there are Aon reports. Do we analyze? Do we do our research? So research is secondly most important. Research and analytics, right? People analytics. This is second most, I would not second, these are top two critical skills. Analytics and legal part of it. Okay. So do we do that? Okay. And third, data. So data management is also very important, very critical. Representation of data is also very important. So we use Power BI, okay, which gives us the data. But how do we present it on a presentation when we are going in front of the board is something which we are making people learn. So I think very importantly, in a strategic role, which is every HR should learn, be it they are from a TA role or a HR role, is legal part of it, analytics part of it, because that's one of the core role. Okay. And third is that people analytics, people function of it. So when we are creating engagement studies and all of it, how do we define it? How do we define the ROI? All of it. We do OKR, objective key results. So we are also continuously engaging or educating our HR team to understand the objective of the business. So all the OKR should be aligned with the business goals. All the key responsibility areas, key performance indicators should be crisp and to the point, and the measurable guidelines. So we do OKR. So PMS is also very important skills that we are making them learn, right? So these are certain things which I wanted to highlight, which we continuously, ensure the people get evolved, they brainstorm, and technology does help us. There are multiple AI platforms. There are multiple. I just named one, Power BI. I just said, right? One platform that helps us to derive to the technology, but then we do also our research. Like if I have to create a talent strategy document for my client, okay, one important part, very important. Most of our HRs are also aligned with expectations of the client. So they prepare, they also work as a consultants. When it comes to consultants means that they are into shared services business where they're creating consulting document. Now, if you look at a consultant at a EY or a Deloitte, they have a very thorough knowledge of creating a document, a strategical document. They do a lot of research, a lot of practices. This is something which we are educating our team to come up with, or to think, to refer to the data, to prepare documents, to prepare strategies, to prepare policies in line with top fortune kind of a company. That is why that's something which I am actually helping my my direct reportees, the managers, to evolve into that role. What will happen is that they would know the businesses in depth, right? So they would refer to NASCOM studies, they would refer to Aon, they would refer to EY, they would refer to various Genesis studies, they would research through it, they would understand the market, they would understand how businesses function. And when they are putting any strategy, be it EVP or a talent strategy or a HR optimization strategy, they would exactly understand how the industry work, how the market work, and propose or recommend the strategy accordingly. And it is not just a copy paste, or it's not just the ChatGPT content, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for those insights, Prosenjit. Now let's talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? With societal changes influencing workplace expectations, how do you balance the need for DEI with the practical challenges of implementation? That's the first part. Second part of the question is, what advice do you have for organizations striving to create a more inclusive environment?
So very recently, I had a conversation and I said there as well. So important is that you have to incorporate equity from the beginning. So biases starts from recruitment side of it. So what we do is that we did a mind match, which is checking the mindset of an individual, which is also an assessment sheet we prepare for the recruitment professional when it comes to evaluator. So you can be an L1 manager, you can be a business guy when you're evaluating someone. So we would like to understand when someone is interviewing, uh, uh, you know, a gender, any gender be it, whether they are keeping any biases or not. It can be conscious bias, it can be unconscious bias. That way we have designed this online and offline cheat sheet. Second is that we ensure that there are no rejection or there are no, kind of let go situation of any female employee just because they are staying afar or they are, they're going to conceive all of it. So we ensure that all these practices are prevail. Third is that we hire a lot of freshers in few of our centers in India, wherein because ultimately everything comes from data, wherein so there is a center named Surat where it's a technology service center where we hire most of the freshers and we then groom them and take them to the next level. So in Surat, what happened that out of 250, 300 people that we have about 45% of female employees. So we cautiously went to various schools, marketing schools, or, whenever you want to hire technology institute, and we recruited female, population, right? This was our cautious because we wanted, because they are going to work with clients. So we understood that, female are more dedicated. They are, the way that we have evaluated that they are more calm in a stressful situation. They can handle things. So we wanted to create a, population which has a healthy mix. So we went ahead and recruited. We wanted to have a 50-50 kind of a ratio wherein, both of them have joined hands and work together. Nothing to portray one gender to other, but, to ensure that, right? So so that's what we are trying to do, to have a 50-50%. Malaysia went ahead and hired 62%. So they have, now I'll tell you the reason. So they have 62%. Now we have, if you go through our website, you will see we cater to, one is GCC, I told you, other is talent solutions. What is the talent solutions? We supply manpower, we provide, contract staffing. We have a platform, Psyche is the talent platform where people can apply for jobs. We also help delivering CRM and other governing tool to the clients. So it's a entirely customized, curated, large-scale talent solutions line of business that we do at SRK Consulting Group. Now, when it comes to talent, when it comes to connecting with people, it is obvious choice that, and especially in recruitment, you would see it is obvious choice that female deliver better because the way they talk to a person, the way they create that experience, the way they handle the situations are much better. So Malaysia went up and recruited 62% of female employees there. Now, if you really look at this situation, one is this ratio. Okay, we did it with the purpose that, okay, we wanted to have a healthy percentile, healthy, kind of mixed of people, which is ratio, I said. Another is that our business also demands it. We found out when a female employee, a recruiter or a HR is talking to a person, right? A recruiter, with a candidate, the way things are being dealt with or handled, or the way in the communications have come up to a level is much mature enough to the way, a recruiter, a male person is communicating. So this is something which is, we've been studying this and we see that the responses are better. You can't hang up when you're talking to a lady, you just can't hang up. There are people who are, irritated person. When you're doing a sales call or a cold or a lead generation call, they kind of hang up, right? So we have various level of talent solution business. We found out that women are more competent there. There were no questions of competence. They are more further competent. So one is very important. It is not just we need to create a number. We need to show it a stack record, whether our business demands or not, whether our business excellence or not. So we saw that, okay, this is business excellence. That's why we hired. Okay, there were no compromises. Second is that how do we ensure that the diversity is in place? Constant education. So our L&D function always works to the toe to ensure people understand the diversity, respect the diversity, post regulation, etc. Everything is there. But importantly, they respect the diversity, they understand the diversity, various programs that we run, right? Wherein respect mechanism has been touched upon. There are investigations that we do. There are various audits we do. There are pulse surveys that we do on every 6 months basis to domain to see how people are reacting to various situations, right? To ensure, again, as I said, coming to that, employees are happy. And when I say employees, whether they are also respecting the other gender or not, both sides. Okay. So these are certain things, but if you look at Pulkit, I'm stretching a bit, I'm talking a lot, but if you look at Pulkit, we align that with business, right? So we know our purpose, we align that with business. We hired talent resources. So talent solution, we hired most of the female employees there, right? Technology, whenever there is a need of freshers, we hire there, right? But does that mean that we compromise and just we hire because of the meeting target? No, we did not. We did not do. Because we never recruited people on their race, culture, eating habit, or their color, all of that. We are very strong to, kind of counter those beliefs, right? We never recruited people on their education, their ambience, their where they come from, their title. We never. Okay. And if you look at, we operate in 10 countries, versatile countries. We operate from APAC, right? South Asia to US, very different culture, to India, very different culture, right? And we are opening now in Dubai and all of that, which is very different culture. So we cater to all the culture, all the race. So we never have that kind of mindset. So we linked all this with the achievement of the business, the relevance of the business, and things are doing pretty well. Malaysia has become multi-million-dollar kind of center by recruiting 62% of the female, one of the most growth center that we have. The country that we have, it's growing like anything.
Yeah.
And today we are in Singapore, Philippines, we are recruiting people. So wonderful, because talent solution need that. So we understood it and we capitalized that. Yeah.
Great. Oh, thanks for that wonderful example. Now let's talk about ESG, right? Because that again is a very important topic, talking of contemporary times. So with ESG considerations gaining prominence, how do you see HR evolving not only to meet the environmental and social expectations, but also to govern these practices effectively within the organization?
See, our parent company, Sri Ram Krishna Exports, right? And they are head of HR, right? My good friend. They are, so our parent company have taken an oath, right? I think government has taken 2037, almost, that's 11 years, 12 years prior to what government has taken, right? Or even more than that, 2024 end, they have our parent company, they took an oath to ensure all the facilities of the parent company, all the allied services and facilities will become carbon free, carbon emission free, entirely green. So they are lead generation, lead certified building. They are, all of that has happened. They are US Green Building. They are part of US Green Building Council. All of that is there. But They are the first, one of the first diamond company, diamond and jewelry manufacturing production company that come up that by 2024 we would be zero emission. Net zero is that say net zero. So net zero is one of G20's, as you know, our honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, has took an oath, right, to ensure India has become net zero. With this line of thought, our parent company by 2024 end, they will become net zero. Now that's what benchmark of ESG. And we are very proud to be part of our chairman's legacy, Dr. Govind Dholakia, who envisaged and envisioned that, okay, India will become net zero. So while the India is trying to become a net zero country by 2037, 2038, our company, right, our parent company to be precise, right, they will become net zero. They took an oath, right, by 2024 end. So you can imagine the kind of impact that we internally had from our stakeholders, from the SRK family members. Definitely, what we are doing. Now we are a technology company, okay? What are we doing? Okay, we are today, we have Malaysia Center where we, formulate ESG policies, various ESG practices we are doing in India. We are looking at the waste management stuff on when it comes to the servers and management on the IT perspectives, right? We have centers like Surat. We have a center. We are talking to people to how we can develop. So one is CSR initiatives. We do CSR initiatives as as our usual practices. So that is there. Another part is from the carbon emission perspective. So what we're looking at a centers at a company where we can evolve our IT practices. We ensure the waste management happen there. We ensure the electricity carbon is happening. So those progresses are there. We did our kind of inspections and audits and discussions, right? We have a committee that we have created, and we are looking forward to our parent company and even other entities to guide us. And we are making progress. I would not say that we made something very different, but we made committee in progress. We have plans. But yes, of course, technology has a very different way of approach of ESG to compare to a manufacturing setup. That is why we will, whatever practices we would do, whatever report we will generate would be in line to technology market. That progress is already happening. And while that progress is happening, talks is always there. It was there even 5 years back. It is there now as well. Very crucial is ESG initiatives. Every company to do that and discuss, but it has to be also relevant to the company that you operate. Now, if you are a company where you are new to the market, you are a startup and you want to do a ESG, then you need to look at whether it is your current goal or whether it is going to help you to achieve your current goal or not, rather than just jumping the gun. That also very important. So again, as I said, whether it is relevant to your business, whether it is relevant to the current market need of what you operate, whether it is something which your client would look at before you sign off with them, is something which you need to every company look at. I just give you an example of our parent company. I also shared that we are doing these practices from an IT standpoint, from waste management, especially waste management and carbon emission standpoint. Yeah. Does that answer this question?
Absolutely, it does, Prosenjit. Thanks for that detailed answer. Now, let's look at the current challenge. These are recessionary times for a lot of companies across the globe. And my next question is related to all the challenges that come up with layoffs and how one must deal with it. So talk to us, when facing the need for layoffs, how do you prioritize transparency and communication within the organization? Part one. Part two of the question is, what strategies have you found effective in minimizing the negative impact on morale and productivity?
Part one. Okay. So, first of all, I think you can minimize, when it comes to how do we deal with the situation. As I said in the beginning, I believe I said it, that one is that you need to know what is going to happen, right? So if HR is there, let's say if I am there, right, whether I am updated enough that, okay, we are going to lose a business or we're going to lose, because why layoff would happen? We need to understand it, right? Multiple factors. VCS stopped funding you, your revenues are getting lesser. You didn't plan it well because you wanted to hire people, right? Because you got a fund from VC. And today, when you got a fund, then you immediately start recruiting, and then you realize you don't have much to offer to the client, or your client project goes haywire. Fortunately, R is not a typically how it VC funded kind of an organization. It is an envision of our parent company where they wanted to grow, or their perspective is that what's next. They were in leader in manufacturing, $2 billion kind of $1.82 billion kind of a company net worth, and they were huge in diamond manufacturing. So they wanted to invest into IT services. They wanted to invest that, okay, what's the future? So they're our founders, they have joined hands and started this organization. Now, having said that, our perspective, so from HR perspective, is that whether you are aware what is happening, number one. Right? So very importantly, whether you know proactively, whether you know beforehand, so that you can take action, right? First, so that is there. So if I'm aware, and it is not that we didn't have any situations prior to this, especially because we work with GCC and it is pretty common in GCC. What we did is that in such situation, right, though it was impacting at a very lesser head count, in such situation, what we did, we went completely transparent. We never hid anything. Very transparent to the employees. This is what happened. This is what project impacted. Like COVID happened, US and UK market hit the most, right? So UK, that there was a client who kind of shut down their businesses, and they in self reduce, their most of the, say, 70% of the population in the UK itself. So we had to cross-utilize the project resources wherever we could, and we unfortunately had to let go of the resources. So what we did, we remained transparent, right? Such that they trust us, they believe on us. We given them advance notice. We ensure they get paid to the last day. We get back to the client that, and our notice is 60 days, okay? So 2 months, full salary, nothing of deductions, no of it. You have to pay back because you are giving advance. So we go back to the client and we communicate, right? That, okay, we need to give them advance notice. Even if that person says, okay, I got a job and now I'm leaving, you can't recover. You pay them that the last day, whatever recovery, you waive it off. So we went back to the client, tell them that in India, where we are operating, there is a dependence that is looking up to a person who is going to the job. And we need to respect the timeline, because whenever we have a hiring, we ask people to cut down on their notice period and join. Now, because we are not hiring and we are asking people to leave, we cannot cut down on the notice period and say, we can pay you this much and you go. That cannot happen. Because importantly, we just don't work with you. We have other clients to deal with it also. So we went back to the client. We communicated with them transparently, but very firmly and clearly. They agreed to it. They agreed to it because that was a great client that we had, right? Unfortunately, we could not do it, right? We had minimum because of the impact. So we communicated to the people. We give them enough notices. We ensure they get all the facilities, the leaves, the benefits, all of it. The insurances till the last day that they work with us. We ensure their full and final settlement happen within 10 to 15 days of their relieving from the duty. We ensure they get immediate relievings, immediate experience. The exit has to be smooth. There were people who were asked us that, okay, help us in though you have given us a 60 days kind of a notice, 2 months, you said, for some cases, senior people, it's 3 months. But can you help us in finding a job? We went ahead and outplaced them. Not a single person has not been put an effort. And this, we did it at a leadership level. Personally, very important, when you are in a situation, you cannot ask your HR guy, go ahead and communicate. If there is a CEO, there is a COO, if there is a CHRO, all these title guys, they have to personally involved into case and ensure each one of them has a logical conclusion and a happy conclusion. So we outplaced each and every guy. I went ahead and called up my colleagues and said that, okay, get this person on board. You have a requirement, get this person. We posted in CHRO groups, we went into WhatsApp groups, we call up people, we ourselves have actually posted their requirements. We ourselves have actually went ahead and emailed their resumes to our fellow colleagues in other companies, other HR, and ensure they get an interview fairly and based on merit, they get a job. This you need to do very strongly. So ethically, principally, you need to stand with them. Just communication would not help. So you be transparent, but you also, whenever you have a situation, you should also go back to the business, go back to the client. And you said that you don't compromise. You have to give them a notice. You don't compromise on any employee benefit. That is a strong stand one HR has to take. I took it. I am very happy and proud of it. No doubt about it. Right? I am that way very strong. I can tell my business this needs to be done. Right? And I don't compromise.
Yeah.
That is, and my business is that way very strong. They go back to the client and said, okay, boss, we need to give this. Right? And I'll tell you what. There are rejoinees, right? 5% of our population as rejoinees. We are anticipating this should go 10%. People have started rejoining us. Now you think this is the practice. This is an example. I'm giving you data. They have started joining us back. So cross utilizing that person. So whenever there is a pocket of entry, whenever there is a pocket of opening, you push that person. If not, there is no opportunity based on the skills available. All of that is there. Salary still you can manage, right? But skills is important because most of our client-based location or whether there is a requirement or not. Then you ensure that that person gets placed. Okay. You ensure that you align yourself along with the one person who is probably coordinating on every day to ensure they get outplaced. You don't leave them. You don't just communicate and leave them the way they are. If you do that, that would be catastrophic to your company. You always get connected. You always tell them you are with them. I think 2 questions I have answered both. One is that how do you deal with the situation and how do you cater to the situation? We did that, and and I think we handled the situation pretty well, and we also went ahead and asked them the feedback when they join in and all of that. We are still in touch. They are still in touch. Okay, and every cases, I would like to highlight the cases that comes as background verification. Okay, every cases that comes to us, it is a mandate in our company. The head of HR would look at each and every case. So each and every BGV I look at ex-employee verification. I ensure they get a green certificate. We never hamper or impact anyone's career. We never, because for us, alumni, we have an alumni associations and all of that, we are connected with them. But alumni are very, very, very important for us. Their feedbacks are extremely important for us. So we always ensure alumni are happy, they understand our stand, they understand each other, and we have a good relationship. Again, as I said, linking to the happiness and the family values that we are always portraying. This comes from there. That's it. Yeah.
Oh, great. What a story there, Prosenjit. I truly appreciate the genuinity with, you have dealt with this situation. Thank you for that. Let's now talk about my last question, and this is any piece of book or literature that has influenced your leadership journey.
I think I am a great fan of our chairman, our we say our friend philosopher, also friend and guru, and one of the gentlemen for which I joined this company. I read about him, I studied about him. He influenced me. I was a different state altogether, and when I read about him, when I studied about him, how this gentleman come from a very poor family, had multiple brothers and sisters, could not afford to go to school, could complete his class 7 pass, and could not have a bicycle. Could not have slippers to go to schools and all of that. And from there started operating as a diamond polisher, a craftsman, and become $1 billion valued businessman. I was amazed to hear his story. I was, the way they preach it, the way he created his legacy. I immediately thought of, when there was interview happening, leaders were taking my interviews, I immediately thought of to kind of join. This is the person I'm talking about, Dr. Govind Dholakia. There is a book that says diamonds are forever, so are morals. So you can, so this is what we believe in. And one of the mantra that I would like to show here, this says, I think camera.
Yeah, I can see.
But I'll read for you. I am nothing, but I can do anything. This is his mantra. It's the company logo. This is mantra. So this says, I am nothing. So I'll talk about this. I am nothing, but I can do anything means, if you think that you know things, then you would never be able to learn. You need to be a student of life, be it life, be it, wherever you are. Let's say if you're an HR guy, you don't know how to how to become a pilot, right? Or you don't know how to do things which is, there are many things which is beyond your control, beyond your learning. Like you can't do a marketeer job, like how Pulkit does. So do you have ego, or you let go of the ego and you say, I'm a student of life, let me learn, right? So what happened, most of us when we have gray hairs, and most of us when we grow old, we always feel that we know best, none like us, right? And we demean others. But when you have an open mind, when you are a student of life, you have an ocean of learning in front of you, ocean of knowledge in front of you, and you start learning. So be humble, be grounded, let go of your ego, and you can achieve anything. This is what also this book portrays. This is about your autobiography of Dr. Govind Dholakia. If you have time, Pulkit, I would also recommend that you please buy this book. This is available in Amazon. This is the bestseller by Penguin India published. And you will hear his life story. Like I said, he started as a diamond cutter and polisher, and today he is one of the most valued gentlemen, right? Awarded by various entrepreneurial awards, and one of the father figure. And this book of leadership has actually, kind of inspired me to the core to believe, to believe that, okay, good person exists, family value exists, life values exist. And if you work hard, no one can stop you. This actually helped me. This is one of the book that I share it with everyone that I meet, and I'm sharing with you. So this talks about morals, ethics, principles, which today's world of technology hardly people have. Okay, so this talks about that. This is one of the book. The other book I would like to share is that this remarkable book. This is Atomic Habits by James Clear. Okay, and this is one of the remarkable book of habits and leadership. This I really, this is one of my books that I follow through. right? I try doing it. I am not 100% perfect. So many flaws in me, but I always try to practice. And one of the, remarkable gentlemen that I met in forums, 2, 3 forums, kind of become a fan. And, I loved love to hear him, is Ankur Wariku. And I have both the version, but this version is unique, do a big shit. So I think all youngsters should read this. Such a gentleman, how he's established, how he struggled, and how he's... So all these guys have influenced me, and definitely these are 3 era. So James is a very different kind of personality, as you know. Kaka is a very different veteran in industry, very different kind of moral taking, and Ankur is today's young leaders people would look at. So these are the 3 versions. If people have books want to study, of course, and if they are coming here, my door is always open. They can take the books and kind of get into my personal library. They can read it. Yeah.
Great. Thanks for sharing names of those books and actually giving us a glimpse into what they are all about. Thanks, Prosenjit. What an amazing, wonderful conversation. This brings me to the end of this episode. Big thank you to you for being on the CHRO Mindset. I must say your thoughts and knowledge made our episode super awesome. We really appreciate you sharing your wisdom. It means a lot to us. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. You take care. I hope I have been able to justify to the questions and answer. And if people wanted to learn more or reach out to me, I am there on LinkedIn. And they can reach out to me and we can connect. Thank you, Pulkit. It's nice talking to you. And I appreciate you and the HR1 company to take this initiative and talking to the CHR guys. You stay blessed. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thanks, Prosenjit. Dear listeners, a huge thank you to you for tuning into this episode of the CHRO Mindset. We hope you enjoyed the insights and wisdom shared by our wonderful guest, Prosenjit. Your support means the world to us. Stay tuned for more engaging conversations and thank you for being a part of our community. Thanks again. Thanks for listening to the CHRO Mindset podcast. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a review. Join us next week for another insightful conversation with a top HR leader. And if you have any questions or feedback, reach out to us on social media or via email. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next week.